Good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. And of course, you know, I'm on Spotify. Check out my podcast. I'm also on BitChute. All those links are in the description box. Hit that link tree, clickety clack. Now, there's cause for some confetti. You know, in New Year's, they got those little plastic bottles like that, and you pull the string, and it goes, and it shoots out little confetti. We need some of those because there's been a small victory. I'm sorry. A huge victory for San Francisco parents. Now, San Franshithole, a.k.a. Needles and Shit, California, a.k.a. the shitty city by the bay, is still that. But this is a big one. So the San Francisco School Board, it was the president, the vice president, and some other empty suit piece of racist shit that was voted out in a recall. The first recall in San Francisco for the school board since 1983. I was 3 years old. That's back when California was good. You know, California used to have free healthcare. California used to have so much money left over from its budget that it could do shit like that. Anyway, so 1983 was the last time there was a school board recall. Well, they had one a few days ago, and 3 of the members got bounced because there's actually a few things. It was the city not reopening schools and putting kids back in school, even though they knew they could have, even though they knew it was unnecessary and it was a strain on the parents, and it was a disadvantage for the kids. That year that they were all out of school for, put an asterisk next to that, scrap that shit. Parents are not teachers in that sense, like as the profession. So having the kids home in front of the screens, that was a bunch of bullshit. That was a waste of time, money, and those kids' education that they could have had. But they could have had these kids back in school, but they didn't. So it was not putting kids back in school. It was the school board's attention on bullshit, like renaming schools that were named after Abraham Lincoln, Father Junipero Serra. There's a high school called Serra High School. Do you know how much of California has to do with Father Junipero Serra, who put all the damn missions here? Abraham Lincoln? So the kids are failing and drowning academically, but you're worried about changing a school's name. So it was not putting kids back in school, focusing on bullshit. There's a high school in San Francisco called Lowell, and it is the high school, college prep. That's where you send your kid if you want to give them the best springboard into life. Ivy League. This is like a Harvard high school. And for years, it's been mostly white and Asian kids. If you know anything about the Bay Area, there's a gang of Asian kids here. San Francisco has one of the highest populations of Asians outside of their home countries. So outside of China, Japan, Korea, Southeast Asia, whatever, they got some of the largest populations of Asians outside of Asian countries. So it's big time here. You got entire cities that are predominantly Asian. So this school was predominantly Asian and white. And then the last thing were some tweets that the school board president sent out in 2016. I'll get to those. I'll save those for the after dinner mint. So the parents are pissed off because these fucking idiots won't put the kids back in school where they need to be. They are focusing on bullshit. Renaming. Who gives a fuck what the school's name is, especially when there are no kids in it? You could probably stick a microphone and 80% of the kids that go to those schools, and they couldn't tell you who the fuck that person was or what they're famous for. So it was nonsense. They had as usual, they had much more important shit to tend to, but they didn't. And merit-based, hey, they talk all this shit about equality. Well, really what they want is equity. Equality means we all have the same shot to do what we need to do. Equity means after you take that shot, they're going to make sure that everybody lands in the same spot, no matter how hard you worked or didn't work. That's bullshit. That's anti-American. That's the anti-American dream. That's in opposition to the American dream. So They got rid of merit-based shit because they said there's too many Asians and white people. Hold on, I thought the Asian hate and the bills and the legislation and you care about the Asians. Unless they're flying in the face of another part of your agenda or propaganda. Okay, I get it. So, merit-based. That means if you are good enough to make it, grades and other, I'm sure there's extracurricular activities and all kinds of shit you have to do to get into these schools. But if you meet the criteria, you're in. We don't care about what you look like. We care about who's the best to maintain this school's reputation. And their reputation is what causes parents to come there and spend their money. Green is the only color that really matters. These fucking idiots got it twisted. Like a bad ankle, they got it twisted. Money, that's what matters. So if you have a good reputation, parents are going to come there and spend their money. If all of a sudden you got a bunch of kids who are failing out and can't cut it, that's going to damage their reputation, and that's going to stop the from flowing in. Okay, so when you take away that merit-based system, now you're not saying you don't have to be good enough on paper. You just got to look good enough to the eye. You have to be dark enough. So they break out that color chart and see. All right, cool. You're dark enough. You're darker than a sheet of office paper. Come on in, unless you're Asian. Get the fuck out. So it's no longer merit-based. It's race-based. So they appear to be more diverse. It's about a diversity of appearance, not thought. So they needed some more black and brown faces. God, I hate these fucking terms and phrases and words they lump together. But they needed more black and brown faces on campus. So they bumped the Asians and bumped some of the whites to get some black and brown faces. What did Humpty say? Please allow me to bump thee. That's what he said, right? So they're getting bumped out of the way. Go somewhere else, you little Asian bastard. You're not wanted here until we need you. So the parents got pissed about that. And one of the ladies got voted out by like 74%. Another one was like 78%. And they were all in the 70s. I think the last one was like 71%. They did not want these crooks in there. They kicked the shit out of them. They kicked them so hard in their ass on the way out that they probably broke their foot. That's what those kind of numbers mean. We don't want you. Get out. So the parents got pissed. They finally voted these scumbag worthless turds out. Now for the racist tweets from the San Francisco School Board Vice President, something Collins, Elisa Collins or some shit is her name. Now, the reason you probably haven't heard about her tweets is because she's what? That's right. Come on down to the next edition of Who's Dark Enough to Stay Out of the Headlines. That's right. Miss Collins, she's a black woman, so she has at least one layer of victimhood. I don't know if she's part of the alphabet soup group. That would definitely give her another layer, but she has at least one protective layer of victimhood. She's a black woman. So they didn't say shit about these tweets. So she sent one out that said, what about these Asian parents? They're employing white supremacist tactics, by going to these schools. She said, even though you're a house nigger, you're still a nigger. End quote. That's what the vice president of the San Francisco School Board tweeted. Talking shit about these Asian parents who want to put their kids in a good school. She said it's a myth. This is a myth and a fantasy that this school is somehow a springboard into life and it's going to help them. Bullshit, woman. It is. That's why they want the kids to go there. That's what they come here for. Why are these schools not flooded with black kids? We're here. We're born here. We got home field advantage. They got to come here on a boat or a shipping container and some shit and eat fish heads for 2 weeks until they get here. But you best believe when they get here and they open that shipping container and that sunlight hits their eyes, they're going to hit the ground running and leave us in the fucking dust. That's what they're going to do. We don't got to come over here on no damn boat. We don't got to hide and sneak and stay quiet as the patrols go by. We're here. We know the culture. We know the language. We know our way around the city. We are connected. How come those schools aren't full of us? How come we can't supply our own black and brown faces to get in there based on merit? Well, I can tell you one thing, when half of you are going to be aborted or shot, that's going to keep our numbers down. See, here we go. It always goes back to the family. And families are made up of what? Humans. But if you kill these humans, you have no family. See, what we do as people, we find somebody who's attractive, and then we get together and we fuck each other and we make babies. But if you're killing these babies, they're not growing up to create families of their own. That keeps our numbers down. That's why you don't see black people represented in gaming and all these other stupid fucking professions they think that black people are beating down the door for, but they just won't let us in. So you get those numbers up, you get those nuclear families up, you don't got to worry about getting into Lowell High School or any other college prep Ivy League high school. The Asians, they value education. That is the key to success in this country. Educate yourself. That's why. That's why they're all over these schools. That's why there's too many Asians in this school, because they prioritize education. And here's a little side note. I don't think it's a coinky-dink, but Asians also have the lowest number of out-of-wedlock births. 17% versus over 70% for us. You think that's why they might be fucking winning? But it's okay. If you have enough victimhood or the right victimhood, you can say shit like that. And no one will ever hear about it until 6 years later. She said, where are the Asians coming out against Trump? Bitch, is Trump part of your job? If you look up job description for the vice president of the San Francisco School Board, is Trump's name anywhere in there? No. Shut the fuck up and stay on task. So kudos to those parents of children who attend that shitty San Francisco School Board governed school. Good for you. This is what these people understand. This is all they understand, is losing their power. Parents did that shit. You don't think the mayor of San Fran, shithole, Mayor London Breed, in between her taking selfies with Magic Johnson and going to see Tony concerts, you think she's not worried about this coming to her doorstep? You think she's not worried about her punk ass being voted out? This is all they care about. Keep it up. You don't give me what I want, you're fucking out of here. You're out of there. So let's see if we can make this continue throughout not only San Francisco, but the surrounding areas, the state, and the country. Oh, and guess who was against the parents doing this recall? The teachers' unions. Fuck the teachers' unions. Now what I'm about to do is go in here with my beautiful wife and kids. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell, because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Utilize the Linktree link. Get your ass over to JerichoGreen.net. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.